Cisco is quietly just giving 90,000 employees AI agents, but nobody's talking about it. And I don't understand why, because the implication of adding this many AI agents is almost unprecedented. These 90,000 employees are basically gonna be mandated to be offsourcing their workload to these AI agents as early as this month. 90,000 agents. But what most people aren't talking about, at least the few people that are, is the way that this is being rolled out kind of fundamentally changes the way that you and I and other employees and business owners are going to interact with AI when it comes to business. It's no small deal, guys. This is really, really big. It's one of the largest AI agent rollouts to date, which again, if you've been subbed to the channel, you know this is the year of the AI agent. This is the year that AI stops being looked at as a tool and starts being looked at as an employee. We've talked about that a lot. But listen, you don't need to take my word for it. Listen to what the CFO, Mark Patterson, says. He says, quote, "We feel like that's the most efficient way to build our own AI stacks, which will go out and query the different models based on the particular use case." And this is what, guys, this is what people aren't talking about. It's this little statement where he says, build our own AI stacks. That is a really, really important term. And you may recall, we talked about this a little bit last week, that Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir, went on CNBC and was saying that this is a major, major problem. What is that major problem? Well, here's the problem. The problem is when you're using an AI model like, let's say, Claude or ChatGPT, OpenAI, what you're doing is you're outsourcing the application layer of your company. And that's very, very dangerous. It puts you in a very risky place. I'll give you an example. And we'll talk a little bit about why this is dangerous. But the big reason is the IP, the property, the intellectual property of your company is basically it's completely accessible by this application layer in this case, the AI company. So again, for example, you build your entire company to be AI first, and you build on Claude. Claude is getting all of your data at that application layer. And if they decide, they can compete directly against you. They might take all of your information, all of your data, and say, nice business you got there. Why don't we go ahead and do the same thing? And quite frankly, this is not unprecedented. They've already done it. Why are people not talking about this? This is absolutely crazy. They've already done it. You may have heard of Claude Design. Claude Design was released specifically to compete with Figma, who has consequently crashed out. And this is exactly what Alex Karp was saying. And this is exactly, I think this is really important to see what Cisco is doing here. Cisco recognizes the threat of building out your AI agent workforce on something like Claude. And then Claude's like, nice business you got there, Cisco. Be ashamed if something happened to it. And that's exactly what we're seeing there right now. But again, why does this actually matter to Cisco? Well, these Cisco AI agents are going to be pretty freaking lit. They can handle tasks, answer questions. And again, they're going to route request the most efficient AI model. It's not necessarily just going to be one AI model. They're not going to be beholden to one application layer that they don't own. And again, this gives Cisco a ton of both security from an intellectual property standpoint, from a trade secret standpoint, a competition standpoint, but it also allows them to avoid the huge token cost problem, which is something that we've talked about as well. Once you build out your entire company on a specific AI model, what happens if that AI model increases the cost of tokens? You are screwed. You're completely screwed. So by building out all this in-house AI agentics, they can certainly reduce their AI token costs. By building the AI infrastructure in-house, it gives them control over security, IP, and costs. Seems pretty fundamental. And quite frankly, this might not actually bode too well for both Claude and OpenAI, assuming that they're going to have an IPO go out later this year. Not going to bode super well. Although, interestingly enough, I heard this the other day, that ChatGPT has really kind of cornered the consumer market, which at first was they're not going to make as much money because they've got the consumer market. Anthropic and Claude have it going on because they have the enterprise use. Well, if all the enterprises get freaked out and stop using them, well, they could sink. It's kind of an interesting place here. Are you gonna buy IPO stock in Claude? Anthropic, I don't know. I kind of rethink it. I kind of might rethink it. Anyway, this is a very visual shift away from that trend of giving OpenAI or Anthropic the keys to your castle. And it highlights also the growing risk to employees and humans that are working at these companies. Because, while Cisco has said that these AI agents are not intended to reduce headcount, the more intelligent, the more trained, the more experienced your AI agents become, the less value they're gonna have for you as a human. The less problems you're gonna be solving. The AI agents are solving the problems now. They don't need you. They don't need me. And in fact, it's easy for them to say like, well, these won't replace humans. Guys, Cisco just fired thousands and thousands of employees. We covered that in a video. I'll post a link to the video here if you want more details on who was fired, why they were fired, because the reality is that all these resources are going into AI. And again, this is particularly obvious when it comes to roles like engineering, HR, finance, customer support, all these marketing. You gotta love us marketers, but AI is just coming for anyone in white collar work. In fact, 29 months in a row, white collar work has contracted. There are less white collar workers month over month over month for 29 months in a row. Why? Because AI agents are taking over. And I'll tell you what, you put 90,000 employees training AI agents day after day, week after week, month over month, hour after hour. Those AI agents are going to be solving a lot of problems that human beings used to solve. I was actually talking to someone who's pretty ingrained in State Farm, and they're doing a lot of things over at State Farm. Do you think underwriter is going to be around in a year or two? AI is going to be doing all the underwriting. It's absolutely bananas. Maybe I'll record an entire video on how the insurance industry is going to be completely flipped on its head by AI. And at the end of the day, guys, there's a cycle that's playing out right before our eyes that most people are missing. AI gets rolled in, it makes the team more efficient. Attrition reduces the head count in certain roles, and then the extra savings and cash is shifted to AI infrastructure and AI-related roles. Absolutely, absolutely crazy. Guys, what do you think about this? Am I tripping? Am I just like Chicken Little over here, or is this actually happening? Is AI gonna be raining down on our heads just like the rain is raining down on my head right now? It is an absolutely crazy time, and I think that this story about Cisco and not just that the fact that they are rolling out all these AI agents, but the way they're rolling out is a pretty big indicator of what is to come. Put in the comments below, what do you think? If you got a great comment, I'll pin it. I pinned them in the past, I'll pin them in the future. And in the meantime, welcome back. I hope you had a great 4th, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.